I'm John Payne, and so if you don't know me, I play guitar. 1985, Jill and I met. Well, we didn't meet, a little before that, but we met. I was an itinerant guitar player playing songs and singing songs in bars and restaurants, and we met, we got married. We liked each other a lot, and year after we got married in 85, we bought a 4-bedroom, 2-story house in Gurnee. And we were doing really great. She was managing a doctor's office at the time. I started driving a school bus during the day to offset the evening thing where I had to go to work till 3 in the morning. That had to stop, So I started driving a school bus. I'm driving the school bus, and I would line up every day next to a girl named Vicki Grady. Vicki Grady would line up her school bus next to mine, and we would talk a little bit, and she would talk about the Bible and about God. And I'd say, yeah, well, in Leviticus it says this, and it says, and I'd really attack her about things. And you know what she said? She said, oh, I don't know about that, but our pastor's really a nice guy. You should come. He likes the Cubs and he plays guitar. You should come to church. So we started thinking that for our son, we should probably get our son into a church. So we go to Lakeland Church in Gurnee, where Doug Halsey was pastor. And we start going to church, and he starts showing up on Wednesday nights at our house at about 5 or 6 o'clock just to stop by and say hello. And Jill, sorry, Jill, I have to tell him, Jill would say, let's hide, let's pretend we're not home, let's hide, we'll pretend we're not home. But I'd say, no, he's a really nice guy. So he'd come in, we'd talk for an hour, and he would never bring up the Bible or anything. We would just talk because he was waiting for us to come over. So we started attending classes at church. Every Sunday we would go. So it comes to just before Christmas in 1980, whatever it was, and my son was giving toys for tots, giving toys to Toys for Tots. And he'd go, well, this one, I don't use this one anymore. This one's broken. Here, they can have that one. And I said, look, excuse me if I get a little, I said, look, that's not a gift if you do that. I said, look at what we've been learning at Lakeland Church, that Jesus Christ was God, and he came and took on flesh so that he could die so that we could be. I said, that's a gift. And then it fell on me just like a ton of bricks that it was the truth. So I start crying. Okay, I've got a 7-year-old. I'm crying. He's going, I'll give him all my toys. Don't cry anymore. It's okay. It's all right. So at that moment, I came to know what it was. And Jill came to faith just about the same time. That's a story for another time. That's another testimony of her, a time. So I was shifting jobs back to the working place, which I was employed in audio-video sales. Before that, I was going back to that. This is a year or so after I came to faith. And I had 2 job offers, and I really evaluated them closely, and I thought, I really need to, so I took this one job with one company, and I was there for 3 months, and I was miserable. It was just, and then I realized I had never prayed about it at all. I had never said a prayer, So I set to praying every day. I would go in a little room at work upstairs and pray, Lord, I made the wrong decision. I'm sorry, I didn't, I should pray, Lord, guide, what can I do, So all of a sudden one day, I didn't hear a voice, I didn't see a sign, but it came to me that I should call this other company that I'd interviewed with and that I really liked, and I just felt God telling me. So I went to a payphone at that time, and I called them, and I said, it's John Payne, Steve, we talked, and I just really think I made a mistake going to this. And he said, okay, give me an hour. I said, okay. So I called him back an hour later, and he said, can you start next Monday? I said, no, I have to give him notice. Anyway, long story short, on the day that I had been praying for 2 weeks about this, the day that I was led to call, he had just gotten word that there was going to be this big change happening, that they needed someone with just my qualifications, and I ended up with them for 12 years. It was a wonderful job. They were a wonderful company. The point is, when you're making decisions, pray about it, and I still don't sometimes, but we need to pray about things because God is in control. Okay, that's it.